Go.
Hi guys, I am Nitish. Today I am presenting a presentation on minimizing potential hazards of materials and finishes for buildings. So first of all, these are the outlines that I am going to talk about in the next slides. As you can see here, importance of material selection, common hazard material and finishes, potential hazards posed by unsafe materials and finishes, New Zealand regulations and standards governing material safety in construction, steps for assessing materials, and in the last we will talk about conclusion. So the first topic is importance of material selection. It is an essential aspect for product design and development. A suitable material must meet basic criteria like manufacturability, performance, reliability, non-biodegradability, and recyclability. First of all, we will talk about the efficient manufacturability. It is a manufacture and taking care of influenced by the materials chosen. A few materials may require specialized fabricating from forms or apertures which can influence generation proficiency and lead times. And the second point is performance. The choice of materials directly influences the performance and functionality of a product or system. Different materials possess varying mechanical, thermal, electrical, and chemical properties. Selecting the appropriate material ensure that the final product can withstand the intended conditions and effectively perform its intended task. And the next point is reliability. Determination plays an imperative part in deciding the solidness and unwavering quality of an item. Insufficient fabric choices can result in ultimately disappointment due to components like erosion, weakness, wear, and natural corruption. Appropriate materials choice guarantees that the item keep up its execution over its anticipated life expectancy. And the next point is non-biodegradability. A non-biodegradable fabric can be characterized as a kind of substance that cannot be broken down by common living beings and acts as a source of source of contamination. Not at all like biodegradable squanders cannot be taken care of. Non-biodegradable squanders are those that cannot be deteriorated or broken up by some common specialist. And the next is recyclability. It is being reusable at the end of its useful life to minimize waste, pollution, and resources use. The next topic is common hazards, materials, and finishes. As we can see, many industrial, agricultural, and medical organizations use hazard substance. The degree of hazard depends on the concentration of the chemical. Common hazard substances in the workplace are acids, cautious substances, disinfectants, glues, heavy metals include mercury and aluminium, paint, pesticides, petroleum products, and solvents. The next is potential hazards posed by unsafe materials and finishes. Hazardous materials and wraps up can posture different dangers to human well-being, the environment, and the general security of items and structures. These dangers can show numerous ways depending on the sort of fabric and its aiming to utilize. Here are few potential dangers are posted by hazardous materials and wrap-ups. Like the first one is fire and combustibility. Disgracefully chosen materials or wraps can contribute to fire risk, which can create so much fire. Materials with destructive fire resistance or that discharge combustible gases when uncovered to warm can lead to quick fire spread and expanded threats to tenants or clients that are in the buildings. And next one is electrical dangers. Insultant production or conductive materials utilized in electrical frameworks can lead to electric stun, brief circuits, and fires. The security of clients and the properties. The next point is environmental defilement. Risky materials can filter destructive substances into the environment, soiling soil, water, and discuss. This will have long-lasting negative impacts on the biological system, seagoing life, and human well-being. And the next point is filtering of destructive substances. A few materials can filter danger chemical into nourishment or refreshment, driving to defilement and potential health dangers for shoppers. Next is chemical responses. Inconsistency between diverse materials and wraps up can lead to chemical responses that results in fabric debasement, discharge of poisonous vapor, or intended blast in extraordinary cases. And the next is erosion and debasement. Insufficient fabric choice in destructive situations can result in ultimately corruption and basic aestheticness misfortune. Erosion can debilitate structures, posing dangers of collapse or decreased execution. Next, we will talk about New Zealand regulations and standards governing material safety in construction. The regulations and standards governing material safety in construction are first is Wellbeing and Security at Work Act 2015, the essential enactment in modern New Zealand administering working environment, well-being and security. It sets out the common obligations of managers, laborers and other to guarantee a secure work environment. It emphasizes the distinguished proof and administration of work environment dangers and counting those related to materials utilized in development. The next point is Building Act 2004. It is an act essentially centers on building control and code compliance. It moreover has suggestions for fabric security. It sets benchmarks for building materials, toughness, auxiliary resistance, and to guarantee the security of tenants and clients of buildings. The next is WorkSafe New Zealand. WorkSafe is the government agency responsible for workplace health and safety of the people. They provide guidance, regulations, and codes of practice related to construction safety, including material handling and use. And the next point is guidance documents. As you can see, various guidance documents and codes of practice are available to provide practical advice on material safety in construction. These documents often offer recommendations on safe handling, storage, and disposal of construction materials. And the next is steps for assessing materials hazards. In this, the first point is recognize the material. First of all, we have to recognize the material that will be utilized within the extent or item, counting materials, components, and wrap-ups. And the second is assemble fabric data. We have to assemble the data, gritty data on almost every fabric, counting its composition, properties, planning, utilization, and potential dangers. Fabric security information sheets or security information sheets given by producer are profitable sources of data.
Two more minutes.
The next point is recognize potential risk. Based on the fabric data, recognize potential risk related to each fabric. Risk can incorporate harmfulness, combustibility, corrosiveness, reactivity, natural effect, and more. The next point is evaluate hazard levels. Assess the level of chance related to each risk. Consider variables such as amount of fabric utilized, the term, and escalation of introduction. And the next point is execute control measures. Identify and execute control measures to moderate or dispose of the dangers. This may incorporate utilizing more secure substitutes, giving individual defensive gear like PP kit, actualizing ventilation frameworks, or utilizing contaminant measures. The next is consider administrative compliance. In this, materials and their employments comply with significant directions, guidelines, and codes of honor. This incorporates checking for limitations or certain perilous substances. The next point is record danger. Keep up careful documentation of the risk evaluation handle, counting fabric data, distinguish risk, hazard appraisals, control measures, and compliance documentation. In the last, we will talk about conclusion. Finally, minimizing potential hazards posed by materials and finishes in building construction is of paramount importance for ensuring the safety, health, and sustainability of the occupants. workers and the environment. The responsible selection and use of materials contribute significantly to the overall integrity and longevity of the structures, as well as the well-being of all stakeholders involved. By adhering to rigorous assessment and mitigation strategies, the construction industry can proactively mitigate risk and create buildings that prioritize safety and well-being of the occupants. Thank you.
Questions? General questions I will ask. When you're working at site, if you found hazardous material around you as a worker, what will be your first step and what is the next procedure? Explain.
As a worker, I will tell to the manager, or I will tell him to write him down as the proper documentation. Also, if there is any serious injury, I will call the ambulance for the safety of the workers. So these are the steps taken by the worker.
Explain related to sustainability materials.
So sustainable materials are which are sustained and for the use of longevity. The occupants use for the long time, for the long purposes, that are called sustainable materials.
What do you understand by the sustainability? Explain sustainability.
Sir, it is a like any substance or something that is used for long period of time. Also, we can use it from time to time and for the future generations. So that is related to sustainable.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Nice, bro.